Hello everyone. Let us look into Article 16 of the Constitution of India, which provides for another part of right to equality. It speaks about equality of opportunity for citizens in matters of public employment. Article 16 consists of 5 subclauses and it speaks about public employment, that is when the citizens apply for any employment which is under the state. So, there shall be no discrimination. It says that there shall be no discrimination for citizens in matters of public employment. There shall be complete equality of opportunity for citizens, that is for public employment in services under the state. So, Article 16 subclause 1 and 16 subclause 2. First of all, 16 subclause 1 just says that there shall be equality of opportunity for citizens. Subclause 2 specifically speaks about the grounds under which they shall not be discriminated in matters of public employment. So, the grounds are, it says that the state shall not discriminate among any citizen on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, residence or place of birth or any of them. So, these are the 7 grounds on which the citizen shall not be discriminated when they are taken in for public employment or any public post under the services of the state. Now, there are exceptions in Article 16 subclause 3, subclause 4 and subclause 5. The first exception, it says that nothing shall prevent the Parliament from making a law prescribing the requirement as to residence within a state or union territory for employment or for a post under the state. That means, if a state or union territory calls for some posts and it prescribes the requirement that the person should be residing within that particular state, maybe for a number of years or maybe for about 2 years or 3 years, if it makes a law, then that is allowed under 16 subclause 3. So, when though residence is a ground on which they cannot be discriminated, but in certain cases it may be required that there may be a employment or there may be a post where a person has to be residing within a state. For example, the object can be very clear. Suppose a person is taken in some village as a village accountant or a tahsildar or for such similar jobs under the state, then he needs to be residing there in order to know the language which is spoken in the local area. So, in this case it is required that he should be residing within that state. So, there are similar posts where the Parliament can by law prescribe the requirement for that particular post, and that is allowed under Article 16 subclause 3. Now, coming to 16 subclause 4. Here it says that nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making provision for reservations of appointments or posts in favor of any backward class of citizens which in the opinion of the state is not adequately represented in the services under the state. This is a very specific provision which specifically mentions the word reservations, which is not there in any other article. So, it provides that where there are any appointments or posts which are reserved for any backward class of citizens, and that backward class of citizens should be not adequately represented in that particular services in that particular state, and it should be in the opinion of that state that they are not adequately represented. So, these are the conditions. So, the condition is that reservation can be made for the appointments or posts. It can be made in favor of a backward class of citizens, and that backward class should be a class which is not adequately represented, and that should be the opinion of that particular state that they are not adequately represented. This is Article 16 subclause 4. So, when we look into this provision, there are so many things which has to be followed. Now, there is one thing to be noted, that it does not speak about how much reservation should be given, or it does not say what is the criteria for the state to form an opinion that they are not adequately represented. So, it does not speak of anything, it just says that in the opinion of the state it should not be adequately represented. So, here there was a case which came up before the Supreme Court after several protests against the reservation policy of the government. One Mandal Commission was appointed by the government and it brought in a report saying that the reservation which is given under this particular provision is valid and this is not unconstitutional. It was a question where how much reservation should be given and whether there are any limitations to be placed on the reservations. This commission was appointed and there was a detailed report in this case. Now, when the case was, when this, it was not a case actually, it was a Mandal Commission, and the commission brought in its report, it was to be implemented by the government. Several governments came in and finally they decided to implement the report and the people started protesting against that Mandal Commission report, because several states started giving reservations which was to the extent of more than 50% also, and the result was that when the reservation categories were looked into, the general merit category were very less. That is, even 50%, 60% reservation is to be given. Suppose a reservation is given to a particular class for 10%, another class another 12%, another class it would be 30%. So, adding up it used to go up to more than 50%. There came one case, that is Balaji versus State of Mysore, in which the Supreme Court said that reservation should be limited to 50%. But still the question was not solved as to what are the limitations on reservation, and there was nothing stated in this particular article. So, there came one important case in 1993, that is Indira Sawney versus Union of India, in which the Supreme Court, after looking into all the provisions and also looking into the report of the Mandal Commission, and the question was discussed whether the Mandal Commission report implementation is constitutional, looking into the right to equality of the Constitution. The Supreme Court said that there should be some limitations on this policy of reservation. So, the principles laid down by the Supreme Court here can be summarized in this manner. The Supreme Court said that reservation should be limited to 50%, whatever reservation is given to whatever classes, totally it should not go beyond 50%. Secondly, it said that the educationally backward classes, of course in Article 16 it does not say educationally or it does not say economically, it only says backward class of citizens, but there the backward classes is stated in Article 15, where it says that socially and educationally backward. So, in this case the court said that when we look into the backward classes, we should not consider only educationally backward, but we should also consider economically backward sections also, and therefore, if the classes are economically good or economically sound, then those who are placed in a favorable status or a favorable, if they are not actually economically backward, then the creamy layer of the society, that is the rich people or the people who can afford or the people for whom reservation is not necessary, they are to constitute the creamy layer, that is the high class so called citizens of the society. They could be removed from the policy of reservation. Removal of the creamy layer was suggested by the Supreme Court. So, this is called as a creamy layer test. Thirdly, the court said that for skilled jobs there should not be reservation. For example, if we have to take up a doctor or an engineer or a person who is skilled in that particular job, reservation should not be allowed, because it may bring down the quality of that particular job or that particular post. So, where there is a requirement that a person should be an expert, reservation should not be allowed. Again, the court said that the commission should be formed, there should be a backward class commission should be formed to look into different groups who are wrongly included in the list of the other backward classes, so that the proper person who is eligible for the reservation should be getting the reservation. Again, the court said that for promotion there should not be reservation. So, there should be reservation only at the first instance, that is when the person is employed, not afterwards. not at the time of promotion. Another thing which was stated was, when any reserved post lies vacant, then that vacant post should not be carried forward for more than 3 years. So, these are all the principles which are stated in the Mandal Commission case, and it brought a limitation upon the policy of reservation to be implemented by the government. After this case, the government decided to carry on an amendment, and Article 16 subclause 4A and Article 16 subclause 4B were inserted in this Article 16. Article 16 4A came in by the 77th Amendment 1995. Here the provision says that nothing in this article can prevent the state from making provisions for reservation in matters of promotion with consequential seniority to any class or classes of posts in services under the state in favor of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, which in the opinion of the state are not adequately represented in the services of the state. That means, the principles which was laid down in Indira Sawhney case was overruled by this particular amendment, because there it said that there cannot be reservation in promotion. This amendment brought in and made valid the policy of promoting a person and by reservation and giving him consequential seniority. So, that the state can now create any class of posts in the services under the state that should be in favor of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes only, and these classes or these scheduled castes and scheduled tribes which are stated, that should be not adequately represented in the opinion of the state in the services under the state. So, that is a provision which has been inserted in 1995. After this, again there was a case before the Supreme Court, that is Indira Sawhney 2, wherein the same provision was again questioned, but the court said that once the amendment has been done, then it stands. So, this amendment is valid. Next, they inserted another amendment, that is 16 4B by the 81st Amendment Act of the year 2000, in which it is provided that nothing in this article shall prevent the state from considering any unfilled vacancies of a year as a separate class of vacancies to be filled up in any succeeding year or years. That means, as the Supreme Court had said that unfilled vacancies should not be carried forward for a number of years, that was again nullified. And further, this article says that such class of vacancies shall not be considered together with the vacancies of the year in which they are being filled. That is, for determining the ceiling of 50% reservation. That means, the ceiling of 50% reservation stands, but if in that year there is 50% reservation, the seats are announced, and there are some vacancies which are carried forward from the previous years, those vacancies will be considered separately. They are also reservation category seats which will be considered separately. They are not put together with 50% reservation which has been given in this year. So, totally it may go above 50%, but the ceiling of that 50% applies to the number of vacancies of that year. So, again the principle in Indira Sawhney has been again nullified by this particular amendment. Then Article 16 subclause 5 says that nothing prevents the state, nothing in this article prevents the state from appointing a person professing a particular religion or belonging to a particular denomination to hold a office of any religious or denominational institution by making a law. So, the state can make a law saying that in any religious or denominational institution, a person who is professing maybe that particular religion or belonging to that particular denomination only can be appointed and he can hold an office. This is allowed because when we say that there is no discrimination on ground of religion, this is an exception to that particular provision. So, when we look at Article 16 as a total right to equality of a person or equal opportunity to a person in services of the state, these are the exceptions which has been provided under Article 16 subclause 3, 4 and 5 and 4A and 4B by way of amendments. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you have liked it, please share it with anyone who you think would be interested. Please leave your comments and I would be happy to reply to them. Do subscribe to get more information on everyday law and legal studies. Thank you.